The Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Ibe Kachuku, has received the Saudi Energy Minister, Khalid Al-Faleh, and his delegation on Wednesday in Abuja for some bilateral energy talks ahead of the 175th Ordinary Meeting of OPEC in Vienna, Austria, come December 6th. Kachiku, in a statement while addressing journalists at a press briefing, stated that the visit of the Saudi energy minister is to discuss and seek ways to stabilize the oil market fundamentals for the rest of the world in preparation for the 175th Ordinary Meeting of OPEC
in terms of satisfying the needs of members of the OPEC family, but also stabilizing the market fundamentals for the rest of the world, because our philosophy is that if the rest of the world are happy, especially the consumers, then we as producers will be a lot happier. We've spent a lot of time on those market fundamentals. What is happening? What do we do? How do we prepare for OPEC? And this is a conversation that he and I have carried on ever since I came into this position. I was president of OPEC in 2015 into early 2016. Then it went to Qatar, I think, and then it went to him. Quite frankly, working together, some of the fundamentals of what has been the resurgent OPEC and what we've done with pricing has been a collaborative work between all of us, particularly led by him. OPEC, of course, Saudi Arabia has about 35% of the OPEC volumes. So whatever happens in Saudi Arabia is very critical to what happens in OPEC. But they're very humble about it, and so in that humility we work together, irrespective of the fact that his sizes dwarf me.
While appreciating Kachiku's hospitality and warmth extended to him in Nigeria, Khalid pointed out that Nigeria has been instrumental in being a force within OPEC and the African continent.
I want to reciprocate by starting by thanking my colleague and indeed my brother, His Excellency Minister Emmanuel B. Kachuko, for the great hospitality. Ministers here have important things to do, but I think the fact that we've managed, both of us, to disrupt our daily and usual routine to be together and spend a few hours consulting and deliberating and preparing for next week is a testament for the kind of relationship we have with Nigeria. And I think it's also a testament for the important role that both His Excellency plays personally within OPEC and OPEC Plus, but also how Nigeria has been instrumental over many decades, being really a force for reason within OPEC. I don't think any other country competes with Nigeria in terms of the number of years the Secretary General position has been held by a Nigerian national, including our current colleague, His Excellency Mohammed Sanusi Barkendo. Of course, Nigeria and Saudi Arabia are very close countries, politically, culturally, socially. It's fair to say that Nigeria is a cornerstone, if not the cornerstone, within the African continent.
Khalid Al-Faleh, Saudi Arabia's energy minister, did not shy away from the current period of volatility being experienced in the global oil market.
Within our own portfolio, of course, which is the focus of the visit and the discussions, we are going through a period of volatility. The last few weeks, we've seen oil markets go through great volatility from both in terms of inventory draws turning into a persistent surplus that we've seen over the last few weeks, and that has been also amplified by geopolitical tensions that we've seen, and that, of course, has fed speculation and speculative activities by financial investors. And the result is that the consumers have been jolted from highs of prices and the $86 per barrel range to 58 that we saw last week.
He is positive that his consultation with Nigeria's oil minister will prepare both Nigeria and Saudi Arabia well for next week's series of meetings at OPEC come December 6th, 2018. While fielding questions from journalists, Ibe Kachuku highlighted his quest to consult with Saudi Arabia because of their achievements in building profitable world-scale oil refineries that Nigeria would love to emulate.
Having said that, yes, we looked at what has been the experience for us. You know, the refineries are very close to my heart. So I did bring up the issues of the experiences that we've had so far, and shared his own experience in terms of the successes that they've had. And he's gotten an understanding to come look deeper into how they've done their own trajectory to where they are today and what experiences we can pick from there. So we did discuss that. No formal things are agreed yet. Willingness to collaborate and learn from one another. These are usually very strong business decisions. And at appropriate time, we will dive into the details of that.
In a swift response to Kachuku's request, and with a kind diplomatic gesture, the Saudi Energy Minister Khalid Al-Faleh took time out to share a bit of Saudi Arabia's success story and then extended an invitation and hand of fellowship to Nigeria through its oil minister to see firsthand how the world-scale refineries in Saudi Arabia came to be.
Of the bilateral energy relationship, I would say that there are two main areas. One is that Saudi Aramco has become successful to a large degree of turning a deficit in terms of fuel product to becoming a major exporter by building a number of large refineries, world-scale refineries, through the joint venture approach by attracting investments and finding a very attractive financing scheme with foreign direct investment. There is technical success, there is project management success, and there is a financing success, followed by operational success that is leading to Saudi Arabia becoming a major exporter of value-added fuel products integrated with petrochemicals, which improves the profitability of these manufacturing complexes. So I've invited His Excellency. He's kindly accepted the invitation to come and see firsthand these manufacturing complexes, but at the same time to see from our team how to structure these investment opportunities to bring FDI into Nigeria. Saudi Aramco being a global company, where company is the largest upstream company, we've been clear that we want it also to be the largest downstream company. And to be the largest downstream company, the whole world has to be, your playground, so to speak. So Africa, being very close to us, is a very important market going forward. And if Saudi Aramco can either invest or at least market in Western Africa, we would welcome that opportunity. And there is no better place to start than Nigeria. Great business environment, huge market, and at the same time a bridge to the rest of the region. In addition to refining and marketing of refined products and petrochemicals, there is the opportunity for gas and gas to power in particular. We've announced recently that Saudi Aramco will match its global scale in oil with a large presence in international gas. So the company is looking to invest in gas in every continent of the world, including Africa. And if there is a way not only to invest in the gas upstream, but to monetize that gas domestically within the continent, of putting gas to power grids and investment opportunities, I think it's worthwhile for Saudi Aramco to look at that opportunity. And once again, if you look for partners, I think you will find in Nigeria the right market, the right resources, the right people, and the right expertise to start looking at these opportunities. So hopefully during his visit and during my future visits and visits from my colleagues within Aramco, we can explore these opportunities, both in refining and petrochemicals on the one hand, and gas and power on the other. We can both bring development and opportunity for Nigerians and Africans, and at the same time profitable opportunities for investment.
Thank you. Of course, one of the other items is that if you look at the regional or global play, you see that as you look from the US to Europe to Latin America, everyone who is investing in say Africa comes in with either technology or funding. Saudi Arabia, and I challenge him to this because China is playing such a huge role now. And I've said to him, but the sort of historical links that we have with Saudi Arabia is probably tighter than anywhere in the world, but on grounds of historical pre-medieval formations in terms of who was part of Saudi Arabia in some sense was more part of Africa. I teased him that God eventually carved Saudi Arabia out and took the oil away. Should have left it out. But you know, so there's a lot of relationship, and they have the resources, and they've done very well managing the resources. And so what I've said to him is that it's time Saudi Arabia to rise to the challenge that China puts on the global play. And then Nigeria brings to the fore the size of the issue of population, obviously some resource and some determination, but an ability to help change the African continent, which is the market for the future. So working together as two historically linked countries, we could do a whole lot more. But of course, you know, it is not going to be on a platter of gifts. Because the reality is that Aramco, any other Saudi investment, is going to be internationally benchmarked. So we've got to provide the right policies, the right marketing environment for this to happen. In terms of whether Nigeria would seek to have an exemption when and if the courts are agreed upon, it's too early to answer that. All I would say is that Nigeria is very committed to working with OPEC. We've always been committed. Even when we had exemptions, it was very carefully analyzed. They were very carefully analyzed basis for those exemptions, but we continue to work very collaboratively with the monitoring group to ensure that we kept within the ceilings that were agreed upon. So again, when we get to OPEC, after we review the data and from the experts and our bench strength, we'll look at making a decision that is supportive of OPEC, working as a family and reaching the best decision for the
I just want to also pass my congratulations to His Excellency Minister Kachiko and to the Director General of the National Oil Company of Nigeria and the entire industry here for the fantastic recovery you have made over the last couple of years. I remember when we were deliberating in Algiers and later on in Vienna, Nigeria and Libya were suffering from interruptions and lack of stability. We have seen since the summer of last year a great deal of stability and consistency in the sector, both operationally, but I think even more importantly in terms of security.
Analysts have said this time around, it's obvious that Brent crude has been struggling to get back above $60 a barrel after a dramatic week. Toyin Ajolore, reporting for On Duty TV, Abuja.